So what I want to show you today is how we can debug JavaScript code in VS Code. Okay. So I want to keep promoting efficient, productive things other than just doing console.log all the time. And as we saw earlier this semester, VS Code's debugger has a lot of more professional features than we were accustomed to in BlueJ. And so I want us to keep using those, even though that we've switched from Java to JavaScript. Um, and so to explain a little bit about what's similar and what's different, let's say we wanted more insight into like the array stuff we were doing last week. I'm going to set a breakpoint on line 31 or this fruit.pop. And again, to do that, you click to the left of the line number and you get a little red dot there for a breakpoint. The way that if I now just right click on arrays.javascript and say run code like we were doing before, it runs and does not hit the breakpoint, okay? Because that doesn't engage the VS Code debugger. So it's a little bit different. When we were doing Java, there would be like the run link and the debug link. This is also a little bit different. So what we do is we switch over here to the run and debug tab in our toolbar. And you'll note that you have something that says debug arrays.javascript because I already created that for you. But let me show you what that is. The way we configure how VS Code does debugging is through a file called launch.json. And this file actually lives in your .vs code folder. Here's launch.json right here. But here's the launch.json I created for us for this part of the unit, where you can have multiple configurations. And I created a configuration that uses Node and it launches a thing. And the name I gave it is debug.arrays.js. And I specify this particular file. What this means is when I press the play button here to start debugging, it will execute arrays.js. Okay. So if I do this, now we hit the breakpoint. All right. This is how we connect the VS Code debugger to the JavaScript we want to run. So now I can see like all of my local variables. I can open up fruits and I can see quite easily apple, banana, cherry, date. I can see the length. I can, add watch commands if I really want. Fruits.length. I could type in here and just keep an eye on it. So as I step over and pop, I can see that date went away. The length decreased to 10. Now I'm going to push elderberry. I step over that. I see elderberry come in at index 10. I see the length is up to 11. You can use the full JavaScript debugger pretty much just like we did in Java, which is great. If you wanted to debug, so I'm just going to hit stop here now. If you wanted to debug a different JavaScript file, you do have to add a second configuration. So you could copy and paste this block because again, we're learning JSON, right? This defines an object with some properties. This defines an array, a list within that object for the configurations. Here's another object within that list. We could do comma, paste it in here. And then we could use a different file here. I could do like functions or something or whatever it was and debug that instead, okay? So it's not quite as easy as Java, but it's pretty straightforward. When we start doing client server stuff, we're gonna have a more sophisticated launch.json that lets us debug server-side code and client-side code, all in VS Code, which is great. So this is our introduction to launch.json, and we'll certainly do more with it later.